Hi guys, how we doing? Welcome back to the Free Hammers podcast. Here with Luke this week. How we doing, mate? You right?
I do good, mate. What is it? Episode 53 we're on now, I think.
53, yeah.
We're
53.
doing well. This is the last one of the off-season. Thank God. It's coming back. Obviously, we start against Manchester United. My preview is already out. We'll discuss what your opinions are on the game a little bit later on in the show. But let's start off with some of the news, some of our business and some of the little transfer rumours that are floating around today. Probably the one that's probably the most load of crap. William Carvalho, 25 million. Yeah, is it even worth talking about?
Well, you never know, mate. Like, I see a comment that summed it up because same thing. I was on These at Mother Brown earlier, and someone posted the link to the article, and straight away people were like, "Never going to happen." And the first reply someone said was, "Well, we said that about Hernandez." So you never know. You never know. I would love...
Very good player, though.
Oh.
Linked with Man United, weren't he, a few years ago?
Yeah, international for Portugal, fantastic player. Exactly the type of player that we need, that we're missing. I don't know, 25 million. Apparently, his release clause is closer to 40 million. So if we are going to get him, I don't think 25 million is going to do it. But
no, like I say, very highly rated. Very, very highly rated. Good midfielder, good solid. Maybe Font, like you said before we went live, Font will probably have a little word in his ear if there is any truth in it. Would be fantastic signing. Like maybe that would be the end of Chiatti, though. No,
I don't know.
Really?
No, I don't think so. I think they're different players. Like I don't know. I love Sheck. I love Chiatti. He's brilliant, and I love him. I love him when he's tearing forward, when he just goes on them runs forward. I don't think he's a very good holding midfielder. The amount of times in midfield he watches the play go past him, I don't think that's what he is. He's not a holding midfielder to me.
Yeah, I wouldn't say he breaks the play up much.
No.
Like, as much like Obiang's quite good at that. But yeah, I don't want Sheck to go, but I've just some of the little comments that were floating around when that rumour come out saying that could this be the end of Sheck. Another player, a bid turned down apparently for a guy from Brentford called Jota or whatever you pronounce it. Very classy midfielder from Brentford. One of the hottest prospects outside the Premier League. I think it's 3 million turned down. They want 8, but it's looking like 6 should be enough. Yeah, it's nice to show some ambition for some players like this and try and pluck some of these good players, because there are good players. There are some players that are actually better than Premier League players down there.
Absolutely, and 6 million is nothing these days. It's nothing.
It's a good gamble price as well.
Yeah, I mean,
like say.
We did obviously sign that kid. I don't know what his name is.
Said Hasalovic or something like that, wasn't it?
Yeah, and we paid a couple of million for him, didn't we? And that's just a punt on a prospect. So yeah, this guy who's like you say, one of the biggest prospects outside the Premier League, highly regarded, really being talked about. 6 million is nothing. If we could get him for that money, I think we should get him anyway, regardless. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. What do you make on the new guy then? Like I say, Said Halasovic. Please correct me if I'm wrong, guys, in the comments.
Obviously, I've never heard of him before he popped up in a West Ham shirt.
I'm not going to pretend like I did either.
It's interesting though, because it sounds like he's going to be travelling with the first team and training with the first team. So we might see him. He might be sort of this year's Fernandez. Do you know what I mean? Sort of that youth player, but who's coming, but not to play with the youth, to come in and be around the first team straight away. But yeah, no, it'd be interesting to see if he gets any chances and what he does with it. Like I say, I don't know anything at all about him.
Like I say, all I've seen is on YouTube, because you do, it's just a thing of football fans nowadays. Type the name in, scored some cracking goals, look like he's got lovely feet. Again, can't judge him on YouTube, but yeah, it's nice. It's nice to show a little bit of ambition. Yeah, we can't keep, I think David Sullivan even said it, we can't keep buying players just for now. We do have to have some players that have got a little bit of a plan to them, and perhaps he sell on value and stuff, as he always talks about. Let's have a look here. Another one, Snodgrass. Apparently Villa might actually come to the rescue of West Ham and get him out. Please. Just watch out for John Terry, I think. Don't take your missus down to training.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we talk about him every week. If there's any player that we're going to sell, he's one I would readily let go. Just hasn't done it in the West Ham shirt. I'd be surprised if he does go without us taking a big hit, because I just don't know, or even with us paying some of his wages, because I don't know. It just
I think they're desperate to get rid of these players as well. I think I don't know. I'm not in the know. I think there's players literally lined up, ready to come as soon as we get rid of the players we want to get rid of. Yeah. A player that won't be coming though is Andre Gray. He has signed for Watford apparently for 18 mil. Disappointed or not?
Yeah. Well, yes and no. Yes, because I think he would have been a good second striker. I think he would have been a good backup option, but not for 18 million. I don't think 18 million for someone who's not going to be first choice. That's, that we don't need to spend that much money on a second choice striker. I hope. On
Andre Gray, obviously, I don't know whether you've seen it, Paul. I assume you have. Slav did come out a couple of days ago and said he is not keen on another striker. I also think that's from X as well. Does that say to you, as most West Ham fans are saying on social media, that he fancies a bit of Tony Martinez this year?
Could well do. What worries me is it Martinez? Is Martinez going to get a chance? Is he going to be? Apparently, Sakho's back training and he's been playing for the under-23s.
Apparently, smile on his face as well. Apparently, very happy to be playing as well.
Apparently, it's last year of his contract. So, if he doesn't play this year, that's 3 seasons. He's hardly kicked a ball. His career's over. Do you know what I mean? If he don't play this year, he's not going to get another contract.
No, so he's either playing for a new contract
or playing for a move.
Shop window.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I still don't really want to see him back in a West Ham shirt, to be honest, after everything that happened. But yeah, maybe Slav's relying on that. And then, I mean, really, if you break it down, if we don't sell any strikers, we've got Hernandez, Carroll, Sakho, and Martinez.
I'm not happy with that, though. I'll be honest, I'm not. Hernandez, obviously, fantastic. But this would scream that he sees people like Ayew, Anatovic and Antonio as backup strikers, if needed.
I think the problem is, if those 4 players, well, not including Martinez, because he's a bit of an unknown at the moment, but if those 3, so Sakho, Carroll and Hernandez, if those 3 could stay fit for a whole season, that'd be a fantastic strike force.
Yeah, no one can deny it if fit.
Yeah, the problem is we can't rely on that. We can't rely on them to stay fit. I mean, as we've said for the last few weeks, we've been saying over and over again, we think we need one more.
That is the next topic, actually, our business in a minute. Our business then. So, like I say, a new signing has come in this week. Fantastic signings so far. No one can deny the signings. Fantastic. And out of it, Zabaleta, Hart and Chicharito. But, and all the outs as well. Are you happy with most of the outs? Is there any you're disappointed with at all?
No, not really, to be honest with you.
I wouldn't have mind. I wouldn't say I'm disappointed, but I would have mind seeing a bit more Nordvet. I think Nordvet could have maybe given another go. I'm not saying I'm disappointed if he's gone. We've got good money for him apparently. So, but he's one. If he would have stayed, I wouldn't have been bothered.
I mean, I think that's what it comes down to. We've got decent money for him, so that's fine. Same as Fletcher. I wouldn't have minded seeing a bit more of Fletcher. But we got fantastic.
Booed,
Sorry,
got booed on his Middlesbrough debut and taken off.
Oh yeah,
Middlesbrough fans saying this is the worst striker we've ever signed.
Wow, well there you go. But we got good money for him, so
yeah,
can't argue with that. I'd be the potential outs. I would be disappointed if Faguli goes.
Yeah, that looks.
It looks
very
done.
close.
Yeah, it looks like he's gone, which is a shame because I think he could have been a really good player for us. I think he was showing signs. Like he was getting better and better. It takes more than a season for most players to gel into a team and to adapt to the Premier League. And I think he could have done well for us. I'm a bit.
I think with Hernandez as well. I think I would like to have seen him. Some of the balls that Faguli was putting in were amazing. And Hernandez already 2 games we've seen him so far. Only pre-seasons. You can see already the movement, the class, and the hunger. Like he was so disappointed that Man City game at losing that game. That says it all to me. That's what I want to see. I don't care whether it's pre-season or not. I want to see people gutted and shouting at people like that's winner. That's someone who's. I'm not coming here to just have a jolly up. I've come here to win.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But yeah, like you say, Paul, one more. I think one more, maybe two, maybe even two.
Well, I mean, one more. Yeah, one more, maybe two, and it depends who does leave as well. Obviously, if we lose Faguli, we lose Snodgrass, then we're going to be light. So, but yeah, I still think we need one more striker. We need a midfielder. I think we could do maybe two midfielders, a holding midfielder and a creative type. But
we're gonna discuss this more later with strengths and weaknesses. But just last thing on business, I said it in my preview. Charlie Nicholas as well has said it recently. Defender.
This is really difficult because if you look at the, I don't think, and this is, I don't know if we'll talk about this a bit more later, but I don't think the defenders, the players are the problem. I think it's the way they're being set up, and I think it's the way they're being organised. I think it's Bilic. I think it's the tactics. We've spoke about so many times. Is so strange for someone who was such a good defender as a player. He does not seem to know how to organise a defence. And since he's been with West Ham, he just doesn't seem to know how to organise a defence. And if you look at the individual players, you look at the likes of Reed, Ogbonna, Font. Obviously, we've still got Collins who can still do a job. We've got some promising youngsters coming through. I think the players are there. I think they're just we're not getting the most out of them for whatever reason. Yeah,
and one thing you could say under Big Sam is those defenders knew exactly their job, where they were for their set pieces, etc., etc.
Yeah, I mean, look at if you look at that Man City game, like look at how bad we were from set pieces. People not.
Bonner's looked really shaky. We'll discuss that more later, but Bonner's looked really shaky in pre-season. Yeah, like I say, we'll discuss that later. So this is, guys, the preview of the new season. We're not going to go through the whole season. We're going to do it a bit similar to how we did it last year. How we sort of just discussed the first sort of few games in August and stuff. So it all starts at Old Trafford, Paul. Not a bad, not the worst place to go. It's not the best place, but like I said in my preview, I can't see us winning. I really can't. I think Lukaku's bang on for 2 goals, and that will be where my money's going. That will be bomb tenner straight on that. Lukaku 2 goals.
Yeah, it's a strange one because Man United, we always seem to be up for that game. It's a game, without having the actual stats in front of me. I feel like we've done all right against Man United recently, and it's the first game of the season. Teams can take other teams by surprise, like what happened with us with Arsenal on the first day. I mean, I don't know, and as well, I like to be an optimist. I like to think, and I'll tell you now, the closer we get to the game, the more and more I'll be thinking, we're going to win. Yeah, we're going to win.
If the players are fit, I don't know whether Lanzini's going to be fit or not. They've not said that yet, and I don't know whether even Arnautovic is going to be fit. There's rumours that he might not be fit. If they are all fit, then on paper we've got a very good chance. But if they're not, I don't know. And we're lining up with some of the sort of slight dregs of the team. I don't want to use worst players, but I don't know. Maybe Noble's in there instead of Obiang and Kiati because Kiati won't be starting. Obviously, Antonio's not going to be there. I don't know. Probably Tony Martinez will be on the bench to come on though, by the looks of it. If not, because there's no one else. There is no one else. Carroll's not fit unless Sacco is being saved because Sacco didn't play in the Billericay game last night and he was meant to play. So maybe they're thinking we're saving him for the bench, possibly. Looking at Man United's strengths, Lukaku.
See, the thing is though, really, if you look at Man United last year. Realistically, last year they were carried by Ibra and De Gea.
Yeah.
Take those 2 players out of that team last year, and they were a very ordinary team.
Mkhitaryan's a great
player. Martial on his day is very, very dangerous.
He loves scoring against us as well. He's enough.
Obviously Lukaku, but they don't. I think we might have spoke about this last year. Actually, Man United as a team, they don't really scare me like they used to.
They're better. They're definitely better. Like Matic is a fantastic signing in their midfield.
Yeah,
he'll be there breaking the play up. He's a very people, pundits are saying he's the piece of the jigsaw that's possibly was missing to free up Pogba. But Pogba, for me, like last night against Real Madrid, he was at fault. He didn't play very well. Listen, against Real Madrid, if you make a mistake, it's going to kill you anyway. But he's still not set it alight yet for me, Pogba.
But he's not he's not. Sorry, he's not really that kind of player. He's not a player that's going to win games. He's not that kind of player.
And you think of the Juventus days as well. I know you're a big follower of Juventus with your Del Piero, but like the years he was good, he had Pirlo standing next to him and Vidal, Arturo Vidal next to him. Like that was just a sensational midfield. Like I think Pirlo can make anyone look good. I mean, in that era.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying Pogba's a bad player. Obviously, he's not. No. He's obviously a very, very good player, but he's not. In my opinion, he's not that match winner. I think, again, like we spoke about last year, massively overpriced. Although when you look at the money sort of Neymar and things are going for now, it don't look that bad. But
I don't think he has the influence of like what Yaya Toure had when he first come over at City. You know, like that's the sort of performances he should be putting in.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Yeah.
Bursting from midfield, maybe banging about 10 to 12 goals a season.
And then again, though, you look at the way that you have to say, maybe, like you say, with Matic, that'll free him up because he was playing so deep last year. And yeah, I mean, maybe just the shackles are on him too much. Maybe that'll allow him to be further forward and release him to do his thing. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see how they get on this year. But I don't want to say they're an ordinary team because Man United are still a massive club, but they're not. For me, they're not a scary team anymore. Do you know what I mean?
No. You can't go up there with fear anymore. Another player that loves scoring against us, Mata. Loves scoring against West Ham. Mata. He's another one got to watch out for. But weaknesses for Manchester United. Again, Lindelof, their new centre half, like I say, could be very, very nervous. Got a bit of backlash last night in the Real Madrid game. Again, it was Real Madrid. We are not Real Madrid. But the two centre backs for me, they're still a little bit. You don't know who his best ones are. Like, is it Jones? Is it Bally? Is it Lindelof? I think that they're definitely suspect at centre back.
I think, 100%.
They got a left back. Did they sign a left back?
That's a good question.
It was like Roger playing there, I think, at one point, because Luke Shaw doesn't seem like he's fancied there, and obviously Antonio Valencia playing right back.
Yeah, Valencia's a good player. I mean,
I like Valencia.
Yeah. What happened to Darmian? Is he still there?
Yes. Yeah.
He's a good player.
He was all right. Yeah, he was solid. Not liked by the Man United fans, though. The ones I work with, they don't really rate him.
I'd tell you, before we signed Zabaleta, I would have definitely took him at West Ham.
Oh, yeah, he would have been good for us, definitely. So, last thing on that, prediction, if anything? I think we'll lose 3-1, I really do. I know that sounds terrible, guys, but I just can't see it. And I hope I'm proved wrong. I really hope I'm proved wrong.
First day of the season, I think, Lukaku's going to score. I really think Hernandez is going to score.
Yeah, I think he'll score as well. Chick-real.
I reckon it's going to be 2-1, one way or the other. I don't know what way it's going to go, but I think it's going to be 2-1.
I think Lukaku, Mata, Hernandez. There you go. See how right. Or Martial loves scoring against us. Sorry. Yep. So that's that for now. So yeah, a rare thing for first month as well, Paul, is only one of our games, by the looks of it, is going to be at home as well. That's a new thing for this year. How detrimental could that be?
Well, going by our own form last year, it probably won't make that much of a difference, to be honest.
Yeah. Quite good away from home.
No, it is a big thing. It's a big deal. I'm not really happy about that whole thing in general, to be honest. It's
our first cup game as well, the League Cup game.
Yeah.
Whatever happens, it's going to be away.
I don't like it. You know, obviously we don't own the stadium, but as far as I was aware, according to the tenancy agreement, Premier League matches had to have priority over anything else, which obviously is a lie. It's obviously a lie.
West Ham Fan TV touched on that actually in the week. saying that he couldn't remember what the exact event was, but apparently there's something next year as well, which could mean exactly the same.
See, it's ridiculous, and I'm almost certain it's against Premier League rules as well. Obviously, there's so much money involved. Everyone's just sort of brushing it under the carpet, and nothing's really being said. But it's a joke. It is. It's a joke. No, not happy at all. As you know, I'm coming over for that game. And
Huddersfield.
Huddersfield. I'm actually looking forward to getting back over. But I literally, mate, I said to you the other day, didn't I, when I booked the seat, like, I don't like the stadium. I don't. I feel like I'm going to be miles away. I'm looking forward to going and seeing West Ham, but I'm not looking forward to going and seeing them in that stadium, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that is one of the questions later on, actually. So we'll talk about that a little bit later. But we've got Manchester United. I think it is Southampton after that, and then Newcastle. Is it? I think it's Newcastle is the next away game. I might be wrong. I sound like a really bad West Ham fan now, but I'm sure it's Man United, Southampton, Newcastle, Huddersfield. So yeah, like I say, if we lose to Manchester United, Southampton, not the easiest place to go. We haven't got a bad record there, actually. We don't do too. We usually beat them at their ground and they beat us at our ground. That's how it usually works for them. Newcastle, I don't really fear them at the moment. They've spent no money. I can see Rafa walking, to be honest, if they don't start spending some money up there.
Yeah, it sounds like it's been kicking off a bit, doesn't it? Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how they do. I don't know. They could do well. Brighton will probably be the standouts that have come up, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, it's a tricky first month, to be honest. It is. It's a tricky run.
And that Huddersfield game, that's not going to be a gimme either.
There's no game. No game is a gimme, but we've got to be honest. We have to be winning that game. We have to be winning that game.
Yeah, but so what happens if we've not got a win in the first three?
See, that's
for the season.
Yeah, that's the worry, isn't it? Because if we ain't got a win in the first three, then we're going into that Huddersfield game nervous.
Must win already. Yeah.
Yeah, and then
if you don't win that, then you are in real problems.
I mean, that don't even bear thinking about, really, to be honest.
I'm trying not to be negative, but I'm just hypothesising both sides. If we get 2 wins out of the first 3 and go into that Huddersfield game, get a win, then we would have won 3 out of 4.
Yeah, absolutely flying. I mean, that's just the excitement of football, isn't it, really? You just don't know what way it's going to go. It's so hard to judge. Like, we do previews and we do predictions and things at the start of the season, but you can never tell what's going to happen until the season's underway. And even then,
we could never have predicted last year, what was going to happen with the amount of stuff that went wrong last year. I'd love to actually go back and watch that podcast and see what we predicted for the first few games. What about, first 4 games, points tally then? A prediction, points tally from the first 4?
I think 6 minimum, really, to be honest with you.
I think we'll beat Newcastle and we'll beat Huddersfield. Yeah,
I mean, regardless of how well they do, you have to be looking at a win against the promoted teams. You have to be looking at wins against Newcastle and Huddersfield. So yeah, it's a bare minimum 6. If we come away with 7 or even 9, I think we're absolutely laughing.
Yeah. Okay, so moving on, carrying on with the preview for the season. Slav, how big a season is this for him?
Massive. Well, in every way, absolutely huge season. Obviously, it's his last year of his contract, so it's a big season for him to either get that extended or to be let go. Yeah, massive season. Massive question marks over his abilities at the minute. Obviously, last season wasn't great. Pre-season's been, let's be honest, a bit of a disaster.
Mm-hmm. He has been back, though. He has been backed. I think it's safe to say that he has been backed, clearly backed.
So far. I mean, yes, we've made some big signings. Could we have made more? I don't know.
We've discussed it over and over during the off-season, haven't we? About how detrimental that contract thing is going to be this year, and how that could definitely dictate our season.
Oh yeah.
If we're winning, then they'll be like, yeah, we're playing for him. We'll give him his new contract. Start losing, and you start getting a few poisonous apples. People like Arnautovic might start playing up, and people like that start playing up. Antonio might start playing up. For all we know, then all of a sudden it starts turning nasty again, like last year.
Yeah, it could easily happen. It really could. As you know, as I said many times, in my opinion, letting any manager go into the last year of their contract is just an absolute disaster for exactly that kind of reason. You know, if you do go on a bad run, players start thinking, oh well, what's the point? The manager's not going to be here next year anyway. Yeah, I don't like the whole situation. It's a bad situation.
I hope he does come through it. I really do. I want it to be our manager. I really do. But like you say, he does need to start answering some of their questions, and maybe, I don't know, start questioning himself a bit sometimes. Maybe think, oh, maybe I was wrong there, and I need to develop in this certain area and tactics and how to change things.
I think.
Go on, mate.
So I was just going to say, I think, you know, saying about he's been backed, as I said earlier about the defence, you have to look at our team now, especially the first 11. You have to look at that and say, right, the players are there. We've got the players now to have a really good season.
Fantastic 11. We will talk about that in a minute. Just on contracts, I've just reminded me. Apparently, our mate Manuel Lanzini will sign a new contract this week. £80,000 a week. Yeah, buzzing, absolutely buzzing.
I'll be buzzing when he signs it.
Yeah, when he signs it. For me, what it gives us, if anything, is more bargaining tool if Liverpool do come sniffing in the next few weeks. I do think he's happy though. I really do. I really do think Lanzini is happy at West Ham. All of his Instagram posts are very good. Seems happy, but fantastic. He deserves it. 80 grand a week for a player of his quality. I don't see when you're going to pay people like Andy Carroll and stuff 100 grand a week, and Arnautovic is on about 100 as well, and he.
Yeah,
so 80 grand,
absolutely.
Give him whatever he wants.
Worth every penny. Worth every penny. And yeah, like I say, I'll hold off on the champagne until he actually signs. But
on contracts, actually, I read today an article with Antonio saying that one of the main sticking points of his contract, I don't know whether you read this or not, one of the main sticking points of his contract was what was holding it up was the fact that he wanted reassurance in his contract that he was not going to be playing right back.
Right.
And that was the sticking point. Like I think he wanted that in writing. Like, I'm happy. He said he's happy to play right wing back, happy to play right wing, but he does not want to be in a defensive position.
That's very interesting. Like you know, that clauses like that could be written into a contract. I mean, what would happen if he then played him at right back?
Well, would that be considered like a breach of contract?
Yeah, but then what?
Well, I suppose then he can't be fined for not wanting to play there. No?
I don't know. It's a really weird one.
It was weird when I read it as well. Like, obviously, he always comes across quite modest, Antonio. But in the contract, in this article, it was a bit like, oh, you know, you have to play the game, and it took a long time, but I needed to make sure that certain point was in the deal.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't blame him at all for wanting to do that.
No. Because we all say he's wasted.
Yeah, absolutely wasted, and he shouldn't be anywhere near right back. No, 100%. It's just a weird one. I've never heard of a clause like that in a footballer's contract before. It's just a weird one. Especially
going into a World Cup year as well. Obviously, he's going to be right in there for a chance of getting in the team if he has a good season as well. And that's a good point to make, actually. A lot of the players are going to be playing above themselves this year because of the World Cup year. You do always seem to have a really good season from your players in a World Cup year. So moving on. Strengths and weaknesses of West Ham this year. We'll start with the weaknesses so we can end with the strengths. Weaknesses for me, defence at the minute.
Yeah.
Defence is very shaky. Very, very shaky. And like you say, lack of organisation.
I think it's everything behind our front four is the weakness at the minute. You know, really, you look at us.
I would say midfielder as well. Another midfielder with a killer pass. because I think that team without Lanzini does look a bit a breadth of ideas. I was trying to think of a good word, like lacks ideas when Lanzini's not in there.
Yeah, no, definitely. And yeah, the defence is the weakness. Like you say, it's organisation. Players don't seem to really know where they're supposed to be, who they're supposed to be covering. Players letting players go. They don't really seem to know their role. You would really hope. I mean, obviously, it's very, very early days at the moment, so pre-season's too soon to judge. But you'd hope over the next couple of weeks, when they're playing with each other regularly, Joe Hart and Zabaleta will start to organise that defence.
Yeah.
Like I say, you can't expect it to happen straight away. You know, they've only just come into the club. But I really would like to see that start happening in the next couple of weeks. Because, yeah, like I say, the players are there. The players are there. You know, we just have to get the most out of them. And like you say, you know, we managed to do it under Sam, under Allardyce. So
with a worse team.
That's it.
With a worse team. Yeah, the football was appalling, but he still got the 1-0s and stuff. I know we discussed that about a year ago about in terms of I'd rather watch good football and
of course
see it and stuff. But yeah, you do have to have the balance of organisation as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd never want Sam back, never, and I'd never want to go back to that brand of football, and I'd never want to go back to being that defensive. But there's a balance. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't have to be one or the other. There's a balance there. That's
right. Strengths, attack-wise, when fit. It's Hernandez and Arnautovic, Lanzini, and between Ayew and Antonio, fantastic that front four. That is quite frightening front four. That is, and I've got to say, I think Ayew's going to have a good season this year. I do. I have to say, watching him in pre-season, he looks fitter. He is classy. He does get into positions. You know, he's a good little player. I like him, and I think he will link up well. I think I can see a lot of rotation though, but. That's a good thing as well. That is a strength. And it looks like we might see some kids as well. Also a good thing. Might see Declan Rice play and Martinez. Like I say, we've got some leaders now, which you'd be screaming for. Zabaleta, Hart, etc. Even I would say Arnautovic is a sort of leader as well because it's that hunger to win.
He's a presence on the pitch, yeah.
Yeah, presence, that's it, yeah. Strengths for you?
Yeah, and like you say, mate, absolutely 100% agree. That front four, as you say, on fit and on form, Arnautovic, Hernandez, Ayew/Antonio, Lanzini, that's got to be one of the best front fours in the league. Obviously, not like obviously we haven't got the individual players like a Hazard or a Lukaku or whatever, but as a group, that's a really, really strong group.
Yeah. In terms of group, I would agree. I would say that's easy, like a top 7, top 6 front four.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I know we're biased, but like if you think like Harry Kane, Dele Alli, Eriksen, or Lukaku, Mkhitaryan, etc., Morata, Hernandez, it's like that. It's got it's definitely got a lot of potential. Okay. Any fears of relegation?
No.
At the moment, from what it was 4 weeks ago.
So we've changed. Obviously, 4 weeks ago we said yes. Now I'm saying absolutely no. We've got far, far too good of a team to be contemplating relegation. No, like we shouldn't be. Again, this goes back to though a little bit of what we were saying earlier. It really does depend on how those first few games go. Because if we end up, you know, going through the first month and coming out of it with say 3 points or something, then we're going to be right down there. But
and Hernandez gets injured.
I mean, it could turn very easily. It could turn very easily. But all right, let's say this then: we shouldn't be anywhere near relegation. We shouldn't have to worry about it. Obviously, things can happen, especially West Ham. They normally do. But but
it would be nice to have a season where we don't have loads of injuries. That would be a start of something good because that is so important. That last season at Upton Park, we didn't have many injuries. We obviously Payet had that one where he got hacked by McCarthy, but apart from that, we didn't have many massive injuries that year, and it does make a big difference in terms of you going forward. Cup run, realistic? Should we be aiming for that? Should that be a big aim, or should we be pushing on in the league to try and get the top 6 or top 7, I'll say.
No, definitely we should be going for the cup. Definitely as well. You have to. I don't really like the idea of prioritising league over cup or cup over league, to be honest. And you can't really say until you're in that situation with injuries and all the rest of it. But no, we definitely I don't see any reason why we should dismiss the cups. This is probably I'm probably contradicting myself now, because I do think the cups are a good opportunity to rotate the team and to see what your sort of fringe players can do. But at the same time, I don't think that's the same as just throwing the cups away. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I think it's just, giving, this new guy, Hasalovic or whatever his name is, and people I want to see Fernandes actually in the Premier League teams, but it looks like he will probably be sort of a rotational player, and Martinez hopefully starting the cup games as well. But we've really got to go out and try and get far, give it a decent run. It's so boring when the season's over, like in March. Mm-hmm. It's nice to have that bit, something to look forward to. Last thing on us in terms of preview, what sort of formation do you want to see, and what is your starting 11? Well,
we've done this.
We've done it, yeah, but do you think we're going to be lining up 4-4-2?
No.
Or obviously not 4-4-2. 4-5-1 or 5-4.
Well,
or 5-2-3-1.
If it was me personally and I was setting the team out, it'd be 4-2, probably 4-2-3-1. Yeah, 4-2-3-1 or a 4-2-2-1-1. But yeah, basically, you know what I mean. So 4 at the back, 2 central midfielders, not 2 holding midfielders, 2 central midfielders, striker, Lanzini just behind, and then wingers either side. That's the way that I would set us up. That's how I would set us up.
Yeah, like I say, I discussed it a couple of weeks ago. I want to see it that we can change in games. Like if we got a 1-0 or a 2-0, we can go into that 5. But if we're losing, we can go into with sort of more wingers with a 3 at the back. Just so we can chop and change it. Your left back for you,
Masuaku.
Is it Masuaku? Yeah, for me as well. He absolutely destroyed Kyle Walker the other night. I don't know if you see that clip. Absolutely destroyed him. Masuaku for me. In terms of if we went 3 at the back, would you like to see Zabaleta there, or would you like to see Zabaleta and Byram? I thought Byram's looked really good in pre-season.
He has, actually, yeah. He has looked very good. I mean, if we went 3 at the back, then Zabaleta could play that right-sided
right centre back.
Yeah. He could even possibly do the holding midfielder role. I mean, there's a lot of options there, but yeah, you'd have to say Zabaleta has to start though over.
Who's your 2 centre backs?
For me,
Reid Ogbonna?
Yeah, for me, it's Reid and Ogbonna. I just think they're two, regardless of form, I think they're 2 very, very good defenders. I think they're both quite classy defenders. You might argue that maybe should be one of them and one of Collins and Font to have that kind of the double one who's going to just be
one's a ball player.
Yeah, one's a ball player and one's going to just jump in front of everything and win the ball back. But I don't know. Yeah, Reid and Ogbonna for me would be my centre 2.
Yeah. Just into your midfield then. Who do you want there? Mark and Kiati? Obiang Noble?
For me, it'd be Obiang and Kiati as the middle 2. That's who I would play.
Yeah, and I would like to see Declan Rice get some minutes because he looks really, really classy. I don't want to see him start.
No, it wasn't even that. I was thinking about saying, like you said a minute ago, I actually would like to see Fernandes in the team as well.
Yeah, as well. I really like Fernandes. Yeah. But Fernandes, is he going to be playing right wing at Old Trafford on Sunday? Because Antonio's not fit. Potentially Lanzini's not fit, so I could see Ayew possibly playing in that centre part, or maybe Anatovic will play in that centre part and Ayew left. But so I like Fernandes as well. I'm big fan. So that's how we want us to line up. Let us know what your lineups are, guys. What you think our strongest 11 is. What your predictions are for Manchester United, and what your predictions are for where we're going to be. Okay. Question: is Premier League predictions. What is our Premier League table? I will get the name later on from the guy, but I'm not going to do the whole table because 11 to 17th is pretty pointless. I'm gonna do my top 10 and bottom 3, and then I'll let Paul sort of have a little go at each, all right? So I'll go from 10 up. I think Bournemouth are going to finish 10th. I think with Jermaine Defoe, he can carry them through. They've got a very good manager, and I think bringing in Defoe is that touch of class that can just sort of tick them over. They remind me of West Ham, like back in the 90s, when we sort of just that ticking over sort of team. In ninth for me, Stoke, always steady thereabouts. It was between them and West Brom really. 8th, West Ham. I think we're going to finish 8th. I think we're going to have a good season this year. And I think 8th is just about where we will be in terms of above us. Like all the names above us are definitely better than us, in my opinion. In 7th, Everton. The only thing that could kill Everton is the Europa League, obviously. If they go far in that could kill them towards the end of it. In 6th, Spurs. I think they're not going to. Yeah, I think Wembley is going to kill them this year.
Yeah, good point.
I don't think they're going to do much. They haven't bought anyone yet either. Obviously, it looks like Danny Rose may go as well, and Walker's gone. Lots of rumours about Eric Dyer as well, constantly floating around. So I think that team's going to get ripped apart in the next couple of years as well, if he doesn't break his wage structure. In 5th, I've gone for Liverpool. I think they will concentrate on the Champions League, and the league will sort of take a bit of a back burner to them. 4th, returning Arsenal. They've only got the Europa League and stuff. They've got Lacazette, who looks fantastic. I think they're going to finish 4th. I've got Chelsea 3rd. They did not look good. I know it was only Charity Shield, but they did not look good. And again, the Diego Costa situation, I don't know. It depends on how Morata does, how well Morata does. I've got United 2nd and City to win because I think it's a big season for Pep. And I think they're going to deliver. I think Jesus is going to have a fantastic season as well. My bottom 3 before Paul does his. I've gone Newcastle, and that's just based on what I see so far, that they've not strengthened. It looks like there's a bit of a poison chalice club again. Next, I've got Huddersfield. I think they're going to be the one that goes out of the promoted teams. And I think they've been flirting with it for so long, and I would actually like to see them go, is Crystal Palace. For me. Yep. So that's me. We will review it at the end of the season and see how close we got.
Okay, so for me,
10 to 1.
To get, first of all, if the bottom 3, I would agree with you.
Okay. Yeah?
Yeah, so we'll get that out of the way. 10 to 1, I don't know. So if I did it the other way around, if I worked from the top down, so I've got money on Chelsea. I know. I don't know. I just think Conte is such a good manager. It's definitely for me. It's going to be them. It will be them or City. But for me, just to be different, I'm going to have Chelsea first, City second. And it's so difficult. I really don't know. I don't know. I do think Arsenal are going to have a good season just because Lacazette is an absolute machine.
And they did look good. They did look really good the weekend.
Okay. Chelsea, City. I'm going to say Arsenal 3rd, actually. I'm going to say Arsenal 3rd. Liverpool 4th. I think they'll be up there this year.
United miss out again.
I think so, yeah. As I was saying earlier about Man United, they're not, I don't know. Mind you, I don't think Liverpool are that frightening a team, except for Mane. I reckon he's going to be fantastic this year.
Yeah, and new Salah as well. He's a good player.
Salah as well, yeah. So we've got, right, what have we got there? Chelsea, City, Arsenal, Liverpool, Man United, Tottenham. I've got Tottenham at 6th. No, maybe Tottenham at 5th.
Yeah, I've gone Tottenham 6 as well.
They say Everton are probably going to be up there. And then where do West Ham go? West Ham...
Like I say, I think they sit 8th. I think West Ham sit 8th.
Yeah, I think... Yeah, 7th is probably the highest we can aim for, I think, this year, unless something amazing happens. So, yeah, all right, I'll put up West Ham 8th. And then, honestly, anywhere below 8th could be anyone. It could be anyone. It could be anyone. So there you go. You can tell I really did my research and prepared for that.
Yeah, like I say, if you look at the teams I've missed out as well from the top 10, Southampton, West Brom, who had a very good season last year. So like you say, anyone from 8th, from 7th down, it's anyone. Like, and that's including West Ham in that 7th down.
Absolutely.
Because I don't think we can break the top 7. If we have a worldie of a season, then yeah. But yeah. All right, that's it for us, guys. In terms of Premier League and stuff, let us know what yours is. Just give us your top 10 and your bottom 3. You don't need to put them filler ones in, unless you think West Ham are going to finish in them filler places. Another one we'll go for as well, just because it's there as well. I've got 3 actually. 3 we can add in as predictions, pre-predictions. Okay, so top Premier League goal scorer.
Oh God. I know.
I've got 4 actually. I thought 4.
Top goal scorer.
I'm going to go Lukaku.
Yeah, I know you're going to go Lukaku. I knew you was going to say Lukaku.
Yeah, I think he'll bang 25. Is this going to be the season that Harry Kane flops? I don't know. I still think he'll get 20.
I mean, Lukaku, Lukaku's guaranteed goals, isn't he? Guaranteed goals. And in a Man United team, he should be smashing them in. City's difficult because Aguero can't stay fit, otherwise he'd be well up there.
So with Jesus as well. Jesus, like, he's definitely got potential.
But then it's rotation, isn't it? It'll be, if Aguero's fit, he'll be playing on the left wing probably. Or
Lacazette, got a great chance in terms of he's 20-20-20-20, isn't he, for years.
Yeah, we could see.
There's some good strikers this year. Morata as well.
We could see. Morata's an amazing player, but I don't think he'll be up there this year. Yeah. I'll agree with you there and say Lukaku as well. Yeah, just because he's of all the strikers we've named, he's the one that's probably the most proven, apart from Harry Kane. So,
early shout for Premier League Player of the Year. Remember, it's a World Cup year. Tough.
That is. It's a really. Again, it just depends on.
Okay, if I'm going with who I think is going to win the league, then yeah, okay, because usually it works out like that. Then
yeah,
I'm going to have a real stab in the dark and say Kevin De Bruyne.
De Bruyne.
Yeah, that's a stab in the dark. That's a proper, like, if City won the league, I can imagine he'd be probably their most influential.
Yeah.
But if United was to win the league, then you know the EFA are going to go, oh, Pogba.
Oh man, I don't know. I really don't know. Player of the year, it could literally be anybody. It could be anybody. I don't know. I'm going to say Hazard.
Good. Okay. 2 more that I'd like to say that I thought of just while we was doing that. Hammer of the year. Early prediction.
Lanzini.
Cool. I'm going to go. Just because West Ham are West Ham, I'm going to go Hernandez. And how many goals do you think Javi Hernandez will get as a last one? Prediction.
League or League and Cup?
Total. We'll go total through the season.
15.
Yeah, I'll go there. I'll go 15. And, all right, one more then. What will be the total of and who will it be after him?
Oh, that's a good question. It depends if Antonio plays and where he plays.
Yeah, I know. I had Antonio 10, but then Arnautovic could easily bang in 8.
Are you? I reckon. Are you?
A good shout. Good shout. Yeah. And if Lanzini turns up and starts delivering like he is promising to do, he could well get 10 as well. But again, this would be a worldie of a season. Yeah. 10, bloody all over the pitch. But let us know, guys. Any of those predictions. So we want your PFA Player of the Year, top goal scorer, Hammer of the Year, and how many goals Hernandez will get. Okay? Right, let's go on to questions. Yeah, quite a few this week. Thank you to all the new subscribers. We're only 105 away now from 2,000. Our birthday is on the 15th of August. How great it would be to hit it on that day. I think we'll just miss it, but it'd be amazing. Get us out there, guys. Okay, first question. Toby, did you see Iheanacho linking up with Vardy? Looking very good. Why didn't we secure him as well as Chicharito?
I actually didn't.
No, I didn't. I've read stuff about it, saying that he looked very sharp, very good. But we know that. We knew that, didn't we? We discussed that for ages in the build-up that we wanted Iheanacho. But no, I didn't see it personally. But yeah, I'm a bit gutted we missed out of him. I think he would have been a very good option. But if you would have said on the table before we signed Chicharito, Iheanacho or Hernandez would have won, yes?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I'm not just saying that as bitter. I'm not saying that bitter because we didn't get him. That would have been my choice. Okay, next question is from Lewis John. Worrying signs against City. I expected fight of some sort, but nothing. Why is Bilic still saying we need to cut out the mistakes 3 years on? Surely they would have learned by now.
Yeah, I mean, you would have hoped so, wouldn't you? I mean, this is what we were saying earlier on as well about it being a big season for Bilic and about the players are there, just not organised properly. And I think this is, well, as we said, it is a make or break season for Slav. You know, either it'll click and everything will work, or it won't. And if it don't, then it could be a really, really nasty season. Yeah, it's worrying. I'm not going to lie. I'm personally very worried about it. I was saying this last year. I was saying this at the end of last season. We looked bad. We were conceding goals. And I said at the time, I didn't see how things were going to change next year. So this year, I didn't see back then how things were going to change.
And it is a shame because it really is. Like I would have a good shot at 70% of the goals we concede under Slav in these 2 years have been individual errors. Like right back to the first games at Upton Park under Slav. I remember the Bournemouth game, which we lost 4-2, I think it was. The Leicester game, which we lost as well. All individual errors. And all of last season, the first few games, Watford, individual errors. Cresswell made loads of individual errors. So it's definitely some sort of mentality thing there, or confidence, or don't know what he's doing.
I think I do think that's a big part of it, is they don't know what they're supposed to be doing. They don't know where they're supposed to be on the pitch at any given time. If you watch like the really good teams, if you watch the like your Barcelonas, your Real Madrids, you watch your big teams, your Bayern Munich especially, they're fantastic at it. Every single player on that pitch knows exactly what they're supposed to be doing and where they're supposed to be on that pitch at all times. They know wherever the ball is on the pitch, they know exactly where they're supposed to be and what they're supposed to be doing. Yeah. And that's what the best teams in the world do. And obviously we're not one of the best teams in the world, but we need to be aiming towards that. And I think that's what's missing.
A good manager as well, like I'm thinking like the guy you like, Paul, Marco Silva. Like have the ability to do that with lesser players. Someone like Coman and Pochettino when they was at Southampton, not they're no better than West Ham, but they got them playing organised. Big Sam, as much as we don't like the guy, has the ability to go in and get players organised. Yeah. Every player knows their job in a Sam Allardyce team. Okay, Ollie Fuller, Instagram question. Thanks for that. What is our opinion of Masuaku? Yeah, I rate him very, very highly. Fantastic player. Skillful. Suspect defensively, but attacking wise, fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you've got to look at him and say he's a winger. He looks like a winger to me. He doesn't look like a defender. He's fantastic going forward. He loves to get forward. Like you say, very good feet. He's got skill moves. He loves a trick. He likes taking players on. Yeah, I mean, yeah, he can cross. To me, he's a winger. I don't really see him as a defender, or definitely not a fullback. It'd be interesting to see how he's used this year. Because like you say, mate, rate him very, very highly. I think he's a fantastic player.
Yeah, I think harshly treated last year just because of that handball incident. Jack from YouTube, Do you regret not getting Jermaine Defoe as our second striker? Now we have Hernandez as our first.
I mean, I would have loved to have had him as a second striker. That would have been absolutely fantastic.
Would he be too similar though? I don't get me wrong. I would like.
So
him.
I mean,
I was calling for him, wasn't I?
When you say second striker, it depends what you mean. Like, if you mean to play alongside him, then yeah, they're too similar. But he would be a fantastic stand-in, a fantastic replacement for rotation or for injuries.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Yeah. I'm slightly disappointed, but Hernandez is definitely the better version of Jermaine. Okay. Kieran Fleet, Twitter. I went to the Anderlecht game yesterday, and Henry Onakuru, on loan from Everton, played. One of our reported targets earlier in the window looked very sharp, and maybe what we're missing in terms of creativity, quickness, and getting forward. Do you think we've missed a trick with this guy?
I mean, it's another one of them, like, pre-season. It's hard to say.
He was obviously highly rated.
Yeah. Yeah, he was highly rated. Would have been decent, but we ended up getting like Arnautovic. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. You can't really say. It's hard to say, especially after like one game. You can't say, "Oh, we missed out on this player. We should have got this player." You need to wait and see how they do.
I think until we see him in an Everton shirt.
Yeah, that's it.
If he's tearing it up in the league, then we can say it then, can't we? But at the minute, Anderlecht, Belgium League, is it the Prem? I don't know.
No.
Daniel from Twitter. If you could put any West Ham outfield player in goal if Hart and Adrian got injured, who would it be?
That's a good question, actually. You want someone who's tall but mobile.
Yeah, he's a big lad.
Yeah, Kiati's tall and he's quite quick.
I think Antonio would do a job, He's not tall, but he seems like the sort that would be agile.
That's actually a good shout. That's a good shout. Oh, he's tall enough, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's got to be over 6 foot.
He might be 6. Or put Andy and Carroll in goal.
He'd dive once and break his leg.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, mate, I think Antonio, actually, he's got a good leap on him as well, hasn't he?
Good shout. Yeah, I like that. That's a good shout.
Yeah. SB, I don't know whether you used to watch this programme or not, Paul. Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego?
Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? There you go, yeah.
She's probably on YouTube somewhere now from a cancelled show in the 90s. Andy Smith, it was him that asked the Premier League question, so I hope we answered that for you, Andy. And you did have another question. It's been a year since the first West Ham matches at the new stadium. Does it feel any more like home? Not yet. Not yet for me. And we're only going to make it home by winning games and, I don't know, creating history like the Tottenham game last year and stuff like that, creating our own history again. It's going to take time. If you ask me in 5 years' time, I'll probably say yes, but not yet. Just on that as well, Paul, on the Tottenham game, that's just reminded me of something. Was a performance like the Tottenham game, where we all turned up, does that sort of show how much of a disgrace last year was as well? Like that we can pull that sort of performance out of the bag just because it's Tottenham. Like, where are them performances all the time?
Yeah, no, I agree, absolutely. We are capable of it.
Like, where was that all last year? And I think we need to start getting up for games more often. Like the top teams, like you say, they're up for every game. West Ham have a habit of going missing at least 8 games a season, where you just start watching the game and you go, nah, we're not up for this.
Yeah.
Straight away, you can just tell we don't press.
I mean, I do think fitness has a big thing to do with that. Like, we looked unfit last year. We really did. We looked unfit in pre-season, which is worrying as well. And if our fitness ain't there, it makes us look sluggish. It makes us look lazy. You get a game like the Tottenham game where the crowd's up for it and everyone's behind you, and there's obviously that energy in the stadium, and obviously the players can feed off of that, and that gives you that extra push. But I just think in general, too many times last season, we just weren't fit enough.
Yeah, definitely fitness was a big issue last year, 100%. But yeah, I'm hoping we don't get as many of them sort of performances purely because we will have the leaders this year. I'm hoping. Okay, next question was your thoughts on Haka Hakaslabanovic. There you go. That's how you actually is spelled. I'm Swedish myself, so I heard a bit about him. From what I heard, he's a very talented guy, and he has chosen the Montenegro national team over Sweden, unfortunately. And I think he's played quite a few times for their team. I'd love to hear your opinions. Keep up your good work.
Oh, thanks very much. Mate, you probably know a lot more about him than we do.
Montenegro International, like I say, YouTube, I've seen him. He hasn't even got a FIFA rating, I don't think, so I couldn't even use them stats to see whether he had like dirty pace or anything like that. But
I'll look him up on Football Manager tonight and see what he's like.
I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm some bloody football scout or whatever, but yeah, it's exciting. That's all I can say. That give the lad a chance anyway. Let's not jump on his back. If he plays and makes 5 mistakes in his first few games, let's not jump on his back, guys. Let's give the guy a chance. He's 18 years old. Next one, Ian Smith. It has been well documented that we've had another poor pre-season. Other sides in comparison have looked very sharp. I've tried to put my finger on the reasons why and have come to the conclusion that it must be related to the coaching problem. One example is Fonte, who was solid for Portugal and now looks all over the place for West Ham. Maybe a strong box-to-box midfielder is required to gel the team together. What do you guys think? Love the channel, guys. Good luck on getting to 2,000 subscribers.
Thanks, mate. Yeah.
This goes back to what we've been saying all show, really, isn't it?
That, I mean, if you could say what's the theme of today's show, that's it, really. Yeah, it's
players knowing what their role is in the team and what they're meant to be doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. Like you say, I mean, we've talked about it quite a bit already today. I agree. I do think it's down to the coaching, and it remains to be seen whether we've fixed that going into the season or not. You know, we'll see. Time will tell.
Box-to-box midfielder, agree with that, or do you think we've already got that?
No, I don't think we necessarily need a box-to-box midfielder. I think it is more that holding midfielder that we need to break up the play, to sit in front of defence and protect them.
Yeah, I wouldn't even say that. I would say we need like a deep lying playmaker.
Mm.
You know, like a Pirlo. But doesn't every team need a Pirlo? But you know, like when Lanzini played that deep line playmaker role, I know Lee brags about that all the time in the Tottenham game, where he was playing really deep and playing them balls from deep. I think we need that sort of player.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Move it quick.
I think we do need that. I think we need that defensive shield as well, though. But I don't know. Maybe there's a player out there in the world that can do both. Like Kante, we need to find the next Kante.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Done that one already. Which West Ham player has the best chant from the fans? If we're talking current team, I don't know. Really, I like Winston Reid's one. But who put the ball in the park? He's there. Winston. I do like that one. I'm a big Winston Reid fan.
Yeah. I don't know, really, to be honest with you. I don't know if there's that.
Ain't nobody like Lanzini. Plays the West Ham way.
It's just proper cheesy, that, isn't it? I don't know.
Yeah. I'm sure there will be some new ones this year as well with Chicharito and stuff. I'm sure we will have some new ones.
I'm sure.
Yeah. That was Sarif, by the way. Thank you, Sarif. Sean D. James. Who do you think will be our man of the match against Manchester United? If he turns up and scores, Chicharito.
Yeah.
But then, if we've come away and won, we'll probably be here saying someone like Joe Hart.
I mean, if there's anyone that's going to be up for that game, though, it's going to be Hernandez, isn't it? He's going to be absolutely buzzing for that game.
I think the Man City boys as well, Joe Hart and Zabs, they're going to be well up for that as well because they're going to be getting tons of abuse.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah. Same guy. What type of success do you see the men's, women's and development teams accomplishing in the coming season? The development team, they look all right. They got spanked yesterday by Billericay, 3-0. But they look good. There's some good youngsters there, and obviously you're going to have some of these guys like Fernandez probably popping in and out of the team, and people like Martinez will probably still pop in and out. So yeah, they look good. In terms of the women's team, I can't say I know much about them, but definitely where we're backing them. Probably will be better now, where they've got a little bit more backing from the actual club rather than being independent. Matthew Costa, where is the third hammer? He's away on secret duties.
No, Lee's moving house at the minute, so he's not able to film with us. And that, like, if you don't know, if you haven't seen, we have spoke about it before on the show. He's actually moving abroad. I'm already abroad, so Lee's moving abroad as well. So it's going to be real fun.
Yeah. Like I say, how much we see of Lee in the future is going to be touch and go. But in terms of the three hammers, we are going to stay the three hammers, and the third hammer really throughout the season will hopefully be guys like Ryan from West Ham Fan TV, Nicky, obviously Jay will come on, and we're in talks with quite a few people to appear on the show, and they will be the third hammer.
I mean, yeah, we'll have guests and things throughout the season, but Lee's still going to be contributing to the channel. He'll still be doing videos, I'm sure. Obviously, we've got the blog now as well. I'm sure Lee will be writing a few bits for that. He's already got one on there.
With Lee, Lee gets criticism on the channel, but if anything, he's probably the guy who goes every single game.
Oh yeah.
He does all the away stuff as well. Like with me, I'm like, oh yeah, can't bother to go all the way out to St James's Park, I'm too tired. You know what I mean? Well, Lee is hardcore. He will go. He went to Thingy a couple of years ago, like Europa League qualifiers and stuff. So yeah, he's hardcore. West Ham life, Gokhan, Tor or Payet?
What? In what context? What are you talking about?
Yeah, I think that's the key there. What context? Yeah, I'm going to go Gokhan, Tor.
I don't understand the question.
Let's do it in whatever content you want it to be then.
Tor or Payet? I mean, I don't know. Like, they're both irrelevant people to me. Tor. Yeah. Who would I like to see back at the club more? Tor, obviously. You wouldn't want Payet back.
No. Where does just before I move on, where does Payet rate with you? Let's pretend we're having this conversation in 10 years' time. Where does Payet rate you closely with Paolo?
In with regards to ability?
Yeah, ability. We're not talking about what he's done and stuff like that. I'm talking about impact on the pitch. Where would he rate you?
He's one of the best players to ever pull on a West Ham shirt. Without a doubt. I don't care what anyone says, what anyone thinks about him. And like you say, what he did regardless, he is easily one of the best players to ever play for West Ham. We happened to get lucky and sign one who happened to play as one of the best players in the world at his peak. You know, we saw the best of Dimitri Payet, and at the time he was one of the best players in the world. I think there's very few players that have ever played for West Ham that you could say that about. Yeah,
I was going to say with Paolo as well, I think you could say more or less the same as well, that Paolo in them 2 years, I know he was there 5 years, but in them 2 years, them original 2 years, he was one of the best players in Europe. There's no doubt about it. There's criminal. A reason Man United come sniffing.
He didn't get the recognition he deserved because he never played for Italy, and that's criminal. Like it's criminal. He should have been playing them couple of years. He should have been playing for Italy. Yeah. I think he had problems with the manager at the time.
Well, Italy were renowned back then as well for not picking players outside Serie A as well.
And I think if he had been playing on that international level as well, that would have elevated him.
And he wouldn't be playing for West Ham.
Well, that's true, yeah. But no, obviously, ability-wise, Paolo was something else. He was.
What about just one more then on that? What about Carlos then?
Obviously, different types of player. I mean, and again, if you really looked at it honestly, Tevez, obviously a world-class player, had an incredible career, scored a ton of goals, but for West Ham, he only really did it for, a month games or so?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So you'd have to look at that and say, I love Carlos, I love Tevez.
Oh, yeah.
You know, love what he did for us, and the goals he scored were fantastic. But if you look at the overall impact he had, it was quite small in the long run. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I wouldn't say he carried a team, you know, like a Payet sort of pulled them all along, and Di Canio pulled them all along with him. Moving on. Woody, can you guys do an audio-only show? Well, we did used to, but we've had a few issues, I think, wasn't it?
there's basically a couple of things with that and a couple of issues with that. So we did used to have the podcast go up on iTunes, obviously on iTunes podcasts, as an audio only show. If anyone's looked recently, we're still there, we're still on podcast, but the links don't work anymore. You can't actually listen to the shows, and that basically comes down to hosting. Obviously, we record this, most of our shows are an hour or so long. They're big files, they take up quite a lot of space, and you need somewhere to host those files so that they can be streamed to iTunes or wherever, audio only. And I used to do that through Google Drive, which was fine because it was free and I could upload as much as I wanted. So I had, like, I think on there at the minute there was like 25, 26 episodes, which was like 26 hours worth of audio. And that was fine because it was free and it was no problem. And I actually looked at it a few weeks ago to get them going again on iTunes for the audio podcasts, but basically Google's, you can't host files from Google servers anymore. So the only way we would be able to do it now would be to pay for it. Basically, I would have to pay for web hosting to host the files to do it. It's something that I'd love to do. You know, I know there's people that liked listening to the audio files. It's something that I'd love to do, but financially, it's not really worth us doing it. Do you know what I mean? We don't make any money from YouTube. We don't earn money from this. So we'd be going into our own pockets for web hosting. I mean, if there was a big enough crowd, if there was a big enough amount of people that wanted it, then yeah, absolutely it's something that we'd look into. If it's something that only a few people are really going to be interested in, it's not worth us spending the money to pay for that. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I will say we have never advertised it. We've never promoted it or anything. There is actually a Free Hammers Patreon. So listen, I'll tell you, if you want, if that is something that you want, if you want the audio podcast to come back and you want to help out with obviously the web hosting and things like that, go onto our Patreon. You know, you can donate to us however much, £1 a month, whatever. It helps, do you know what I mean? And if enough people wanted to do that, that will cover the hosting, then yeah, of course, no problem. We'd upload them back to the audio. But it's just not something that's worth us doing financially at the moment. So
no, that's it. I maybe going forward, you know, if a company come in and said we're going to sponsor the Free Hammers, then we'll be able to do that for you. But at the moment, obviously, still very grand channel. Toby, why are Spurs only allocating 3,000 tickets to away fans at Wembley? Is it less profitable to increase their allocation? I don't know, to be honest. 3,000 in a 90,000 seater stadium is quite a small amount, though, isn't it?
I did read about this, and I'm probably going to get all my facts completely wrong now. But if I'm right, it's not going to be full capacity for the league games. It's not.
Might be top tier.
Yeah,
top tier out.
I think the top tier is going to be closed. It'll be so that brings the capacity down. Yeah, so the actual percentage wise is what they're supposed to be giving, because it won't be the full 90,000.
Yeah, that'd be about 5% then, wouldn't it? Yeah, roughly. John Hewitt, do you agree? We were so much comfortable playing 3 centre backs last season. Why have we gone back to 4-4-2 in the pre-season games?
I don't think we've gone back.
Maybe.
Sorry.
Because we have a right back now.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say that's probably a big part of it. That's probably a massive part of it, actually. Yeah, I mean, 3 at the back did seem to suit us. I mean, yeah, Zabaleta's not really a wing back. We've obviously brought a right back in. He obviously wants to play 4 at the back, so that's what he's done. He's gone out and he's bought a player to allow him to do that, and that's what he's going to do going forward.
Yeah. Creekmouth, has West Ham's youth policy been transformed into the model of Chelsea, loan out and sell with no real opportunities for players?
Sorry, say that. I missed the first bit of that.
Oh, so it says, have West Ham's youth policy been transformed into the Chelsea model, where Chelsea have like something like 60 odd players out on loan, and then they just sell them with no chance of them ever playing? No,
I don't think so. No. Chelsea obviously are stockpiling players. We're not doing that. We've signed a couple of youth players that they want to put around the first team. The players we're sending out on loan, we send them out on loan to get experience and to get game time to see if they're ready. I don't think we're anywhere close to what Chelsea are doing, to be honest.
No, and I think the ones we've got rid of, like Fletcher, etc., they clearly wasn't good enough for West Ham. And the players at Chelsea, I think, again, it's all clever stuff. They're a big enough team to get rid of players like Dominic Solanke and Tammy Abrahams. Also, like they're clever because they can buy them back. They've got that limitless funds to do that. Dan, question for Paul: are you going to come back with your transfer videos?
Yes. Shortly.
Yeah, someone actually did ask. Dan, yeah.
Yes. So I haven't done any. The main reason I haven't done any so far is basically time-wise. So work. Now I'm working all the time. I'm working full-time now, so I've got a lot less time to do videos, whereas this time last year I wasn't. So I had much more free time to do videos. And the reason I haven't done any this window so far is because by the time we've signed someone and it's confirmed, and by the time I would have been able to do a video and edit it and upload it, there's already a million videos of everyone else talking about the same thing. So I didn't really see the point. You know, it would have been old news. By the time I got around to actually doing it, it would have been old news, so it wouldn't have been relevant. So what I am going to do is at the end of the window, I will do a big transfer roundup. I think that'd be good as well because it will give us a chance to see the players that we've signed and how they get on the first few games, so we can put that into the video as well. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do at the end of the window, I'll do a big transfer roundup video and cover everything there.
SB, any ideas when the third kit is going to be released? Last I heard was September, not much more. X apparently has a picture of it somewhere. Light blue apparently.
Yeah, I've heard it's sky blue. Who knows? It annoys the hell out of me with our kits. I don't know why it's all such a big massive secret, like Area 51 project. I don't know. I really don't understand. I don't know. But hopefully it's not too long.
Yeah. Sarif, is Bilic playing a dangerous game not getting another striker in before the window shuts? Obviously we've touched on it a little bit, but what's your sort of sum up of it?
Sum up is yes. Yeah. It's a dangerous game because if we do get a couple of injuries, obviously we're right in it.
And yes, Tony Martinez might bang in a few goals, but I think with any youth player, it starts getting to the point when you're relying on them, it gets a bit too much for them.
Yeah.
When they have to actually start thinking about playing football, that's when it seems to start ruining these young players, when they're actually thinking about it rather than just raw talent and aggression.
Yeah.
Sean D again. Cheers for all the questions this week, mate. You've done really well. Do you think Newcastle manager would be a good replacement if Bilic was sacked, or would you prefer to see Alan Pardew back? And that is the last question of this week. So,
I really wanted Rafa actually before he went to Real Madrid. Obviously, when we nearly signed him before we got Bilic, I really wanted him. I really wanted him to come in. To be honest with you, though, looking back, it was more anyone but Sam. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Back then. That's what it was more. It was I just was done with Allardyce. Anyone but him. I mean, Rafa's obviously a decent manager. You know, he's got a good record. Would I want to see him come in if Bilic was sacked? Honestly, no. No, I wouldn't. I'd want to see us go out, and I wouldn't want to see Pardew back either. I'd want to see us go out and unearth that next prospect, that like your Marco Silvas, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That's what I'd want to see us do. I'd want to see us go out.
Maybe an Eddie Howe even as well, someone like that. Sorry, there is one more question, just live on Twitter, just come through. I will give them the chance. Jack Manning, what do you think is the hardest position to play in the Premier League and Sunday League? It's a good question.
Hardest position to play in is probably centre back, because you've got to be switched on all of the time. I've never played as a defender myself, so I can't say I really know, but I would imagine anyway. Like, you have to be switched on all the time. You have to, like, if you're caught out of position as a centre back, that's it. Do you know what I mean? So that's probably the hardest position. I don't know. What do you think?
I was actually going to say goalkeeper, because I think if you make a mistake, it costs you the goal.
That's true, and I suppose you're only called into action every now and again, and so when you are, you need to be ready.
And with goalkeeper as well, it takes years to get to what they say is peak. You know, like where a sort of a 16-year-old striker can come in and bang 15 goals in their first year. Where a goalkeeper, like, I don't know, it takes time. But then any position is a hard position. You could say a striker is a hard position because if you don't score goals, then you're not very good, are you?
Well, yeah.
And they say the hardest thing in football is to score a goal.
I think that's the thing, though, with being if you're a striker, that's more natural talent than anything else. I think if you're a striker, it's natural. You're naturally talented at scoring goals. You know, it's instinct to get into positions and to finish chances. Whereas I feel like you have to do a lot more thinking. You have to concentrate a lot more as a defender.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's it for the questions. Thank you so much, guys. I'm hoping next week's podcast, which we're filming on Tuesday, I believe, that will be reviewing the Manchester United game. If I don't review it personally myself, we might save it so we can all review it and discuss it. We'll see how it goes, what time frames we've got. Hopefully I'm celebrating that we've hit 2,000 because it will be our birthday as well. It will be 2 years old. Until then, guys, please comment, like and subscribe. Give us some ideas for topics that you want covered or any other questions that you want answered. Obviously, the more subscribers we're getting, the more questions we're getting, and that's where we're going to start splitting the podcast up, as I said last week. But until then, it's goodbye from me. It's goodbye from Paul. Come on, you irons. Keep believing. Let's hope we have a really good season and a really, really good result on Sunday. A draw, I'll take a draw, but a win would be amazing, wouldn't it? Let's go.
Cheers.